Uwaydah is living free in Beirut.
Uwaydah is living free in Beirut.
The defense alleged that Park's DNA was transferred from somewhere else.
Despite the overwhelming amount of DNA that belonged to Kelly Soo Park, defense attorney George Bueller offered an alternative explanation for how it got there. He argued that it was transferred to the murder scene, perhaps inadvertently, by the real killer when he attempted to remove his prints with a rag that somehow held a substantial amount of Park's DNA. Bueller argued that there wasn't enough of a motive for a doctor, Uwaydah, to want Juliana dead, and that Park received $1 million payout from Uwaydah simply because she was a successful businesswoman.
Kelly Soo Park pleaded not guilty of murder and was acquitted.
During the trial, Kelly Soo Park pleaded not guilty to first and second degree murder. Despite the DNA evidence at the crime scene, she was acquitted in 2013. 2 years later, she was arrested again on suspicion of medical fraud. Dr. Uwaydah was also implicated, and it appears that Juliana's father's suspicions were right all along. Uwaydah was running a shady business.
The broken business deal could be a motive for murder.
During the investigation, the prosecution argued that Uwaydah arranged for Kelly Soo Park to carry out the killing in exchange for a massive six-figure payment because of the failed business deal with Juliana's father. At nearly 6 feet tall, Park was an intimidating figure. The LA Times reports that she had a history of intimidating people who had disputes with Dr. Uwaydah, such as a bank manager who pulled out of a business deal and a client who didn't make his payments.
Juliana's father was in business with her former boyfriend.
Juliana's father was a pharmacist who pulled out of a deal with Uwaydah shortly before her murder. The men were planning to launch a business together, and the last-minute decision allegedly angered Uwaydah. A widely accepted theory is that he hired Kelly Soo Park to intimidate Juliana's father and force him to change his mind about the deal. Whether or not Juliana's death was an intended result of the intimidation is unknown.
Juliana met the suspected killer while she was waitressing.
According to CBS News, Dr. MunirUwaydah had a history of picking up beautiful women. He met Juliana in 2007 while she was waitressing at a restaurant in Santa Monica, and he quickly offered her a job as a medical assistant, where he paid her well enough to afford a Range Rover. The two began a romantic relationship, and she began living in his Beverly Hills home. He showered her with gifts. But at some point, Juliana began to feel uncomfortable and wanted out. They kept in touch when they stopped dating, and that's when Uwaydah contacted Juliana's father, Redding, and proposed a business deal to him. He was infiltrating her family.
Juliana found out that Dr. Uwaydah was married with 3 children.
Around the time of Juliana's 21st birthday, she took a trip with Dr. Uwaydah to Las Vegas and found out he was married and had 3 children in Lebanon. They allegedly had a huge fight and broke up for good. Just 5 months later, Juliana was murdered. The rejection he experienced is one possible motive for Dr. Uwaydah orchestrating Juliana's death. The DNA at the crime scene belonged to Dr. Uwaydah's associate.
Juliana tried to call 911.
Juliana tried to call 911. The killer intended to blow up the apartment.
The murder was extremely brutal and prolonged.
The murder was extremely brutal and prolonged.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.